Well, hello and welcome to the very first edition of A Load of Clark and Ball. I'm Dave Clark and joining me is Tony Bullen. Now, we've got a big competition kicking off on Friday night, live on Racing Post Greyhound TV, Sky Channel 437, Freesat 250. It's the £10,000 Coral Romford Golden Sprint. Favourite competition of mine, Romford being my local track. What about yourself, Tony? It's always a big competition, always attracts a decent field.
Always attracts a decent field. I think in recent years, when you compare to previous years, like your Glenglow Gingers and your Ardbeg Mentors, I mean, I think the standard has fallen off a little bit, but you can only race against the dogs that are around at the current time. And obviously March now, it's called the Golden Sprint. I don't class it as a sprint myself, never have done a sprint in my opinion. It's a two-bend race, but it's had that name since the start in 1987. And as you say, your local track, one of your favourite events, and the smallest errors are crucial at Romford, as you know, Dave.
Absolutely. We've got 6 first-round heats, 36 runners on Friday night. Again, you'll be able to watch that live on Racing Post Greyhound TV. We'll take you through each heat, give an opinion, and hopefully find a winner or two, including the outright winner as well. A little bit of history. Tony touched on some of it there. This is the 35th running of the competition. A Derby winner has won this in the past, the most recently being Blonde Snapper, Mark Wallace's Blonde Snapper back in 2012, went on to win the Derby after winning this competition. Last bitch to win it, which will come on a little bit later on because one of my fancies outright is a bitch. You Never Listen for Jim Reynolds back in 2015. Clondotti Alex in 2017, Forest Chunk in 2018 for Mark Wallace and Kevin Hutton respectively. Union Jack 2 years ago for Gene Lyles, and Goldie's Hoddle last year for the champion trainer Patrick Janssens, and the defending champion is back in action as well. There have been some brilliant winners in the past, Tony, as you mentioned. What do you make of the calibre of the field, particularly at the top of the market this year?
Yeah, as I say, when you look back in previous years, I'd say it's probably not a vintage, a classic Golden Sprint. Obviously, Goldie's Hoddle's looking to become the second dog to defend the title. I think it was kind of Magic that achieved that objective in 2001 and 2002. So Patrick Janssens' dog rightly at the head of the anti-post market. He did suffer a defeat recently and obviously got caught up in the traffic. He was a non-runner, but that sprint trial he's had since suggests that all is well, and he's one of the worthy anti-post market leaders, in my opinion.
Okay, right. Well, we are recording this on Wednesday evening, before the couple of days before the competition, and the prices from the sponsors are out. And I'll give you a quick show. With Coral's first show, we've got joint favourites, outright favourites at 8-1, Gilo Gold Dust and Goldie's Hoddle, the defending champion. Bocco's John Joe, also for Patrick Janssens, is a 10-1 shot, as is Bubbly Magnum for local trainer Paul Young. Shrewd Call, Sprinter of the Year, 12-1 for Dave Mullins. Sign Up Mafia at 12s, Castle Stevie 14s. The most notable market mover, 40s into 14s with Corals. Speak Out Ada, a local dog for Gemma Evans. Lee Fields, Mr. Roo, a sprinter at 16-1. Signature Callum at 16s for Michelle Brown. And then it's 20-1 bar. So it is very, very open. We'll give our outright views and a selection. I'm going to put up 2 after we've been through the heats. I will just quickly now share with you. There we go. Right, heat number 1, the first of the 6 heats, is the 6:43 on Friday night from Romford. In track 1, we've got Final Moon for Kim Billingham, who of course won the Welcome to Hope Jill Trophy at Crayford recently. Golden Jacket meeting. Droopy's Manor in 2 for Paul Young. Locals in fine form on a hat-trick. Infield Khaki in 3 for Mark Wallace. 4, the Yarmouth Raider last for the road. Paul Burr's Charge. Aero Madrid, a good winner last week for Mark Wallace in track 5. And Ballynabee Jet in the stripes for Samantha Westerhove trainer. This is a race, Tony, that I feel could get very messy on the inside. I've got one moving off Final Moon, never been in track 1. Infield Khaki moving in from track 3. Do you see it the same?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Final Moon won the Hope Jill Trophy at Crayford recently. Never ever trialled out of track 1 and never raced out of track 1. So it's going to be interesting to see what manoeuvre she takes on the run to the turn. Droopy's Manor as much as she's made an excellent start to her career on home soil, she did beat lesser lights in that maiden event. Infield Casey, I just think, lost her way a little bit. And I do like Last for the Road. He's the Yarmouth Derby finalist last year. He's a big lump. He's 37 and a bit kilos, Dave. And when he does see a bit of daylight, he's shown what he's capable of at Romford. He's probably suited to a stiffer four bends, but I like the makeup, as you say. Inside could get tight. Aero Madrid's been used to coming out of the stripes, and Last for the Road, a half decent exit. I think he can bully his way into contention off that second bend.
Yeah, just to touch on what you mentioned there about Aero Madrid, very, very impressive last week. Mark Wallace was actually the guest on Racing Post Ground TV on Tuesday night, and he felt that Aero Madrid was his lead in charge. But the loss of 6 is a massive negative, isn't it? He's racing from trap 5 rather than the 6 he was in last week.
Yeah, I did look at that though. I mean, he's won a few times out of trap 5, so it might not be as major of a hindrance as it first appears. But I think I would have preferred him in 6. If he'd have been in 6, I wouldn't have been as confident with Last for the Road. So I just think if Last for the Road, if he can just come away half decent, little bit of inside jostling, and 5 and 6 maybe coming together in the initial strides, I think Paul Burr's heavyweight can land the opening heat.
Yeah, boringly, 2 votes for Last for the Road in the first of the heats. Right, the next heat is the 6:58. And again, Mark Wallace represented on the inside this time with Playbook in trap 1. Bocco's John Joe's a little bit of an enigma, I feel. Patrick Jansen's in trap 2, very, very fast. Ballina Be Lucky in 3 for Samantha West. Sign Up Mafia drops back in trip for Kevin Hutton, who of course won this competition back in 2018 with Forrest Chunk. Atara King in trap 5 for Gavin Holman, and Our Boy Seamus for Romford trainer Michelle Brown. How do you see this one, Tony? First of all, what sort of price do you think Bocco's John Joe's going to be on the inside? Because every chance last time and sent off a short price and he was beaten.
Yeah, I think he'll be around the 6-4 mark, Dave, personally. I mean, the form that he showed, his all 4 wins have been at Romford. And when he did win, he was very, very impressive. He was posting 23, 60s, 70s for fun. Like, he weren't just dipping under the 24-second barrier. He was smashing under it. I was disappointed with him last time. I thought he had no business. As much as Signature Callum is a great stalwart, he had no business getting beat in front. And the 24-12 time suggests that he should have probably won. But he's since gone on and done 15.85 at Toaster for the sprint. You know how quick that is yourself, having been at Toaster recently.
Yeah, if you dip under 16 seconds, you're shifting. He is a dog that desperately wants the inside, though, isn't he? Those looking in the outright market, I'll give you a breakdown of sort of railers, middles and wides with the 36 runners. And it's quite interesting, Tony, that usually we're sort of top heavy with railers or wides, more often railers than not. But it's quite an even spread this year. 15 railers, 10 middles and 11 wides. And obviously a dog like Bocco's John Joe, the more railers in, the less chance he's going to have of having that inside draw.
And that's what I think when you do have an anti-post bet, you do need to take that into account, how you think a competition's going to unfold. Because if you do fancy a wide, 7-8 times out of 10, you're probably going to get your draw rather than being on the inside. The competitions are normally stacked heavy to rails nowadays. And, you know, if you've got a lot of early pace railers, you're going to need a little bit of luck on the draw. Whereas if you're a wide runner, you've always got the chance of getting your good makeup. And I mean, Sign It Mafia, I know you've always been a fan of this dog, Dave. When he first arrived on the scene, I think he was only 1 from 4 as a pup at Romford. He tended to miss the break, show awesome pace to the bend, but being a shorter run to the turn, he didn't always get the breaks at Romford. But I think he's matured. He's not had a lot of racing, really, for how good he looked like being when first arriving on the scene. And I'm going to be with him because, again, I can see Atara King edging wide on the run to the turn. 2's going to be looking to seize the rails off Playbook. And although he's got a bit of weight on Playbook, it's not necessarily going to help him if within 2 or 3 strides, she's got a half a yard on him out of the boxes. Ballina Be Lucky needs no introduction. I mean, behind Shrewd calling the Silver Salver and the Coral Sprint, even reached the Kent Derby final at Central Park and was just denied behind Final Moon in the Hope Gill Trophy at Crayford. But although he's a better dog from middle, he really needs a smash break to get any daylight round the first couple of bends. And I think Sign It Mafia, been a while since he was at Romford, but I think he might appreciate the contours this time around.
Yeah, I mean, when he was beating the Winter Derby up at Monmore, I was really hoping that he was going to come down for the Golden Sprint, because I do feel like he's a dog that is coming away a lot better than he was when he was a pup. I think he was even seeded wide as a pup round Romford, and he was missing the break and he was flying to the corner. And I'm a big fan, as you say. I'm pretty confident that he's right up there for me, probably the top 5 dogs. Maybe I'm a little bit biased. I'm that much of a fan. I'd have him the top dog. Off a good break, he's up there with the fastest dogs to the first bend. And if he can find a start, he's going to go well in this competition. Like you, I can see 1 and 2 coming together. I think Playbook, she's quite a trappy bitch, and she probably wants sort of lane 1.5. She won't be tight to the rails on the run to the bend, whereas Bocco's John Joe will be looking inside, and I think there's a chance of them coming together. And yeah, boringly, that's 2 votes for Sign It Mafia again there. I'm sure we will disagree somewhere down the line. Right, let's get the next heat up then, the 7:18, heat number 3. And a very interesting runner on the inside, Castle Stevie. Lynn Short, very shrewd kennel on their travels. Wouldn't have too many down at Romford in the past, but certainly a kennel of note on their travels, as is Lee Field, the Monmore trainer with his Mr. Roo. Goldie's Lineker for Belinda Green. Her kennel is absolutely on fire at the moment, Belinda Green, so look out for that one. Adele's Duke, another runner for Lee Field. Gilo Gold Dust, one of the anti-post favourites. In Trap 5 and Signature Callum. What a tremendous dog he has been. 4 connections over course and distance. And he's on a hat trick already. And it's incredible, Tony, that he went off. You look at the prices, he's been going off 6-1 and 9-2. I mean, it's just incredible. He's just seems to be the forgotten dog in the market. And then he just pops up and does his thing.
He's just a brilliant dog. He's one of those dogs you'd like 10 or 15 of him in the kennel, wouldn't you? He's just got nothing to prove, but just continues to churn out solid efforts. He was second in the national sprint, obviously, and I think he won the Rose Bowl at Crayford. He loves Romford, but this is a really good heat. I mean, what I like to see, Lee Field, he's no mug with a dog. Clearly, he knows what type of dog to bring to Romford, and he's Adele's Duke, although he's probably going to be a big price in this particular heat. He's done a 24.07, but as good as that is on his own, look at the split day, 3.95. He's going to be going to the bend nearer last than first for me. And although he's only unexposed, I'm not necessarily sure he'll be a Romford dog. Castel Stevie, I think he raced at Romford in his second career start in a maiden event last year, January, I believe it was. But he's really made his mark at Perry Bar. Again, will an easy 4-bend play to his strengths.
He's a fast dog, but has he got the early to hold his position?
And it's deceptive, as you say, because he's done 23.96. You couldn't say, he don't run the track. But on their own, dogs like him will put up that time. In a 6-dog race at Romford on any given Friday, a half missed break, and you're not going to be posting 23.90s. You're going to probably be posting 24.70, 80. But it's a great race, but I'm going to have to be with Gilo Gold Dust, Dave. I mean, she's a bitch that she's won 3 from 5 in D2s at Sheffield when first unleashed onto the scene. And she was winning races for fun at Romford, but not in any flashy times. But she's just a winning bitch. She reached the national sprint final at Nottingham, and that was a career best effort at Romford last week. 23.88, absolute no-nonsense display. You don't see 360 sectionals at Romford commonplace nowadays, and she heads into this race with plenty of momentum and confidence.
Yeah, I'm fully right behind Gilo Gold Dust, not just heat, but potentially outright as well. We'll come to that a little bit later on, but she's shown a tremendous attitude as well, Tony, hasn't she? Because as you mentioned, this is not her first rodeo at Romford. She's been here before, and she's been led a couple of times and shown back straight pace and a real win to get on top, which is a tough thing to do over the 400 metres of Romford because it's a tight circuit and you're chasing a fast dog in front always.
Yeah, and again, just touching on Castel Stevie, Mr. Roo, he's one of those dogs that I've noticed. He's not a lid pinger, but within 3 strides, he surges to the bend. So, it could be room at a premium on the rails because Goldie's Lineker will be looking at edge across, and he's nearly 39 kilos. So, you've got a heavyweight battle going on the inside, and I think the game little bitch of Carl Perry's, she can just path her way round and throw down a serious marker in this heat, Dave.
Yeah, and I think 6 is probably a solid cast as well, full cast dog here, because there is that chance of trouble on the inside. Both 2 and particularly 3 will head inside here, and he's a very versatile and classy dog, because he's another one that doesn't need to lead, Signature Callum. He's a strong runner over the trip, isn't he?
He is. I mean, he backrun Bocco's John, which did raise my eyebrows a little bit. But these dogs that just they love Romford. He just thrives on his racing over an easy 4 bends. He thrives at Crayford. He thrives at Romford. Even showed how versatile he was against the sprinters by finishing second in that national sprint. You ignore him at your peril.
Right. Okay. That wraps up heat 3. Let's move on then to the market mover in the outright book with the sponsors. Speak Out Ada for Gemma Evans. Now 4 wins from 5 starts and a second, has really hit the ground running as Speak Out Ada. Gemma's also got Mohawk Bob, who's another decent local dog in trap 2. Montine Sweep in 3 for Lee Field. Adamant Taurus, another one of the Yarmouth Raiders for Jane Krask in 4. Moulton Manor for John Mullins in 5. And Carl Perry, another trainer represented here, Gilo Brezza in 6. Well, let's talk about the market mover then, Tony, on the inside. This informed bitch, Speak Out Ada. She's not put a paw wrong yet since she's made the switch. And she was a Tralee winner over in Ireland, and she's very much a Romford winner. As I mentioned, she's 4 from 5.
Yeah, she sort of copied what she done in Ireland. She was 3 from 5 at Tralee in a spell from July to November, Dave. Very impressive win in A4. Grader took action, double uplift, won again in 24-12. Ran well in defeat, having been denied the luxury of leading when attempting to complete a So will the draw be a hindrance or helpful? But this is a step up in class, and I like Adamant Taurus here. I think he got marked awkward in one of his qualifying trials at Yarmouth, but won an A1 on debut, and he really took to Romford. I think he was runner-up in the Guys and Dolls at Romford. I didn't think he was disgraced behind Swift Coat last time out. I like the makeup. I think 5 will be edging off into 6. Could get tight on the inside, and Adamant Taurus, if he leads off the second bend, I think he'll take the beating. And he's also capable of showing a bit of second to third pace to come from just off the pace, in my opinion. So I'll be with Adamant Taurus there.
What have you made of Moulton Manor? Because he turned up, and for me, he looked like a dog who was almost a little bit too fast for Romford. He was just flying into the corner. He was spinning wide. He was spinning very wide off the last. And now he's going to have to again contend with not being out wide in trap 6. But if he hits the lids, he's fast enough, isn't he?
Yeah, well, particularly on debut, he was very eye-catching. He looked like he was going to make a winning debut, didn't he, Dave? And then just, so wide off the last couple of bends and ended up being beaten. But confirmed that promise. He opened his account in 24-29. I think he's not progressed of connections would have liked. As much as he stepped up in class, he's not shown that pizzazz against the higher level dogs. And on what I've seen, he needs to step up if he's going to progress, go deep in this competition. As much as Gilo Brezza disappointed last time out, when he gets it right at the boxes, Carl Perry's dog's a match for any. But as much as one's the interesting bitch on the basis that she's clearly not put a foot wrong, I just like Adamant Taurus. I think he's got something about him, this dog, and he's the type that can keep on qualifying.
Okay, right. Adamant Taurus for Tony. I'm going to be with 1. Speak Out Ada. I think she can pop out again, and there might be a few of these at the corner at the same time. The best place to be, as ever, is on the inside. So she's open to plenty of improvement. I'll be with Speak Out Ada there in trap 1. Tony with the 4. Right, here we go then. This is a tasty little heat, this one. The 756 is heat number 5. Sprinter of the Year, Shrew Call, is the name that jumps out immediately in trap 3. But down the card, Droopy's Mac for local trainer Paul Young. Johnson's Rose, also for Youngie in the blue jacket of trap 2. Shrew Call in 3. Youngie again, Bubbly Magnum in 4 for the Champagne Club. 5 Underground Aero, Youngie again, and Feather Breeze in 6. How do you see the Paul Young heat of the Golden Sprint, Tony?
Yeah, I think Paul would have been gutted to have 4. I mean, he's used to having 3 regular in graded company, but I don't think he would have liked to have seen these 4 hopefuls in the same heat. I mean, Bubbly Magnum is clearly one of the leading contenders. When he hit the ground in the Puppy Cup, 23.72, he did.
That was his debut, wasn't it?
Yeah,
incredible debut.
Awesome, and then exit from the semi, but won the next time out. I think he suffered a setback. He ran in the Derby, but he was eliminated from the first round, and then I think he ran against Tempin. He was toe-to-toe with Tempin early in a Kent Derby trial stake at Central Park, but clearly something went amiss and suffered a setback. But I think he's going to have blown away a lot of the cobwebs in reaching the semi-finals of the Winter Derby at Monmore. You look at Shrewd Core, I mean, A6, he started off his career, A6 to A1 in no time, and then all of a sudden, Dave Mullins thought, I'm going to drop this dog in distance, and what a move from Dave, because he just reeled off a hat-trick of competitions. I think Silver Salver, Central Park, Coral Sprint, won the Green King IPA at Yarmouth. He was just brute early pace. However, he's a 12-1 shot outright. Now, I think
he's a dangerous play, isn't he? He's a dangerous play, because if he gets it wrong, he's gone. He's not a dog that's going to be staying on to qualify.
If Shrewd Core wins the Golden Sprint, I would say I would have expected him to go through unbeaten. So I would prefer to back him to win his heat every time. I think you'd probably get more profit by backing Shrewd Core to win every heat than backing him to win outright. I just think he's an all or nothing. He's either first or last material for me. And I think that Bubbly Magnum can get a lovely toe into the race here. I think Shrewd Core can cut loose up the middle, but Bubbly Magnum turns second. I know I'd want to be on.
Yeah, I think he could certainly get Shrewd Core coming up. I can see trouble on the inside here, though, Tony. Johnson's Rose will be heading to the inside. Droopy's Mac, when he does it right, he's very, very good. But he's a dog that you wouldn't be wanting to rely on him starting fast. He's a fast dog, but he's not a reliable trapper, is he?
He's a dog, Dave, that I've always had. He's been in between distances. He's obviously raced on home soil quite a lot, but they tried him over 5.75, and I think he done a 13.36 sectional to the winning line one night and still failed to convert. But in fairness to the dog, he's broken the 24-second barrier a couple of times. Every 2 or 3 races, he's got a smash break in him. And considering that he's strong, if he goes round in front, it'll take a good dog to come from behind him, because he is pretty strong over this distance. But the flying element for me, a dog that I think you're quite a fan of, Feather Breeze, the national sprint dog, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, he got to the final, started off his career in D1s at Hove, showing a lot of pace. Now with Richard Joyce, Henlow trainer, and not been sighted since that national sprint final. And this has clearly been the target for some time. 17th of February, a sprint trial, and then the 24th last week, a 400-metre trial, and 24.06 first go over 400 metres at Romford is shifting. I can't see 5 being in his way early on. He's a well-bred sort, son of Droopy Sydney Asira, who's making waves right now. And I just wonder, I'm a little bit concerned. As much as you think Bubbly Magnum's going to get a nice toe round by Shrewd Core, I'm a little bit worried that Shrewd Core might get in the way of Bubbly Magnum early on, around the first couple of bends. And while all that's going on, I just think out wide Feather Breeze might be able to zoom around the outside and land the spoils. Interesting runner, very, very interesting runner of the wide seeds. Certainly one of those with a big, big chance. And as we've already mentioned, you know, as this field whittles down, the less number of wide seeds there are, the greater the draw is going to be. Not only would something like Feather Breeze be guaranteed a trap 6, but you're also going to have only middle and railers inside you. So the draw is everything. Always at Romford, whether it be a 400-metre competition or a 5.75 competition. As Tony mentioned earlier, look at the makeup of the competition how many railers, how many middles, how many wides, how many are going to go through to next week's semi-final, because this is just one race. This competition is a 3-round competition, so the semi-final makeup will be interesting as well. So I'm with 6. Tony's with a very classy Bubbly Magnum in 4. Let's move on then to the lucky last heat number 6, and the defending champion, Goldie Soddle, in trap 2 for the champion trainer as well, Patrick Janssens. Down the card, John O, you go for Nathan Hunt in trap 1. Goldie Soddle in 2. Swift Cope, very good winner last week, in 3. Gray's Cup winner also for Nathan Hunt in 4. Punk Rock Dole, the bitch, for Stuart Maplesden in 5. And another one for Youngie, Bubbly Spark. We've got to start with the defending champion here, Tony. He is a win machine. He's 33 wins from 80 starts in his career, but a huge chunk of those 33 wins are around Romford, aren't they?
He's just a prolific winner. It's just like picking up your weekly pension, isn't it? When he was out on Fridays at Romford, Goldie Soddle, any trap draw seemed to come alike to him, Dave. He won from 1, 2, 3 and 4, smash break, and he just, sometimes you used to pick the proof up and think, oh, he ain't going to get across tonight, he's not going to get round, and then the traps opened, he was away and gone, and just kept adding wins to that impressive tally. Again, I thought he was a little bit disappointing last time out. The pizzazz wasn't necessarily there down the far side. Must give a mention to Gray's Cup winner, 2018 Puppy Cup winner, Gray's Cup winner. And again, although a little bit of patchy form nowadays, 23.91 on the 22nd of Jan, beating Adamant Taurus, Dave, suggests this dog's still got something about him.
What do you make of 5? Show really good pace at Crayford.
I liked her. I mean, she was only D4 at home. Guys and Dolls, she ran well in a trial stake and then didn't quite go her way in a heat, and then she completely lost her way. I think she ran in the Oaks, made an early exit. Rose Bowl didn't feature, but she's really run well. I fancied her quite strongly for that Hope Duel event at Crayford. I thought she ran a blinder on the worst of the going in the heat, but her downfall is, as much as she carries a wide tag, she tries to cut the turn as they're on the crown of the bend, and if you've got a dog on the immediate inside, you're not going to get the rub of the green. So maybe Bubbly Spark might have a decent makeup if she tries to cut across at the bend.
He's actually going to be my selection here, Bubbly Spark. There's clearly been issues with him. He's been on and off the card for some time. But again, this would have been the target as well, and Youngie would certainly not have rushed him back, I don't think, to get him ready for this. His last race was on the 18th of December, and then he's been off the car, a couple of trials, 2401, 2408. There has to be more to come. I'm not sure Punk Rock Dole is the best of breakers. She's got plenty of pace, but I can see her perhaps getting the start all wrong here. I think she'd be a much better breaker out of 6. And then the door might be wide open to Bubbly Spark, and then it's a case of you're taking on the formidable Goldie Soddle. But like you, I was a little bit disappointed with him last time up. I have been in the past, and he's come back and just strutted his stuff and absolutely sparkled. I'm no doubt that Patrick will work his magic and we'll see a big run from Goldie Soddle. But I think 6 will be a price here. I really do. Two has to take a chunk out of the market, and I'm going to try and get the defending champion beat in the first round with the local dog Bubbly Spark. What about yourself? Are you keeping faith with the defending champion?
Yeah, I'm with Hoddle, but if I had to pick a dog, if you said to me, if push comes, who's guaranteed to qualify from this heat, I would have to say Swift Cope, Dave, because Swift Cope can cope with a messy race. He can do it all ends. He's coming into the event at the top of his game. He's got winning form over 5.75. I think he ran Droopy's Ether to a head over 5.75 metres, and he showed his strength and determination last week, beating Adamant Taurus. So, yeah, if I had to, as much as Goldie's Hoddle will be a warm order, I think Swift Coat looks guaranteed to qualify because Gray's Cup winner shows his best form off the front nowadays. Punk Rock Doll, she's off at best off the front. All of a sudden, when them dogs are denied the lead, Dave, they normally down tools off the second bench. So I think Swift Coat is certainly one to consider for forecast at worst.
Yeah, maybe the field to beat 3 then, if you want to play a cast in there. Those 6 heats are, of course, I remind you, live on Racing Post Ground TV, Sky Channel 437, FreeSat 250. Let's get down to it then, shall we? I'll let you have the honour, mate. Who'd you like outright?
At a big price, well, 33 to 1 he is with the sponsors. Adamant Taurus. I like the makeup in the heat. I think he's a dog that can keep qualifying. Although it's only first 2 in the semis, I still think he could potentially have a decent makeup. I think he could get his middle berth, and we know he runs the track. We know he's got a bit of all-round pace. I think that's what you need rather than like a shrewd call. If he misses the break, he's eliminated for me. So Adamant Taurus.
Okay, yeah, he's a 33 to 1 chance with Corals. Other firms will price it up between now and, of course, those first round heats on Friday. Prices will be in the Racing Post on Friday, I'm sure. I'm going to put up 2. Boringly, one of the favourites, Gilo Gold Dust. She's a bitch in form, clearly a bitch in form. Carl's laid her out for this. She was brilliant in her trial stake. And, you know, she's one of them that's not going to down tools. If she's led, she's going to want to come back for more. She's game as you like. And she is pacey as you like. And then sort of heart rule in the head. I like Sign at Mafia. I think you might get a slightly bigger price about him. I think there might be 1 or 2 firms looking to take him on, thinking this dog doesn't come away. This is not a Romford dog. From what I've seen at Monmore, he's been in with that Winter Derby was a proper competition. As good a dogs around were in that, and he was coming away for me. And I feel this is, although a drop in trip, a slight drop in class for Sign at Mafia. And if he times a start, boy, he's going to go close, because if he gets off the front, they won't be catching him. So the 2 for me are going to be Gilo Gold Dust and Sign at Mafia. Tony likes Adamant Taurus at a big price. He's a lot braver than I. And that about wraps it up. 6 heats. So you can have your little ACCA, trebles upwards, or whatever you want to do, and the outright play. I'm looking forward to it, Tony. As ever, brilliant competition. And it's live on Racing Post Ground TV the next 3 Friday nights. I'm sure you'll be tuning in, no doubt.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, it's great racing. The supporting card doesn't look too shabby either, Dave. And obviously, with the times that the sport's been going through, I think Greyhound Racing has emerged as a winner in these tough times. The sport is thriving. It is an important cog in the betting industry, and hopefully it's onwards and upwards from here on in.
Onwards and upwards, and a load of Clark and Ball. That wraps up episode 1. Thanks for tuning in, and watch out for episode 2 coming soon.